Sawbilled hermit is endemic to southeastern Brazil, in the Floresta atlantica. It has distinctive bicolored bill with a hooked tip, pale eyebrow, and an orange throat bleeding into a pinstriped breast. Buff-tailed sicklebill inhabits the slopes of Los Andes towards the Amazonian forest. Their beak makes sicklebills the only pollinators of a group of heliconias. Pale-tailed barbthroat, it does not have the bill as curved as the sicklebills, so it has to do an extra effort to reach the pollen in heliconias by pushing inside the flowers with its wings. Rufous-breasted hermit, a widespread and generally common species. Here a female feeding on nest. Look how deep inserts the beak inside the throat of the chicks. Sooty-capped hermit is a hummingbird from northern South America. Notably, an amount of white in tail is especially evident as bird flies away. Barron's hermit, here aggressively defending his patch of heliconias against rival species. Filmed in Ecuador. Long-tailed hermit, eastern and western, very similar species found on both geographic extremes on northern sides of South America. Little hermit, calling in the forest, a resident of northeastern Venezuela. Here feeding a chick. Reddish hermit, another tiny and charismatic hermit hummingbird of about 3 grams, making a feeding round on a big compound flower in Brazil. Stripe-throated hermit is among the smallest species in the group of hermits, here feeding on a flower of the Passiflora genus, passion fruit plants. White-whiskered hermit is a large and dark hermit with an extremely long curved bill. Is dark greenish overall with a buffy eyebrow and a white mustache. His long beaks allows him to sip on many tubular flowers. Scale-throated hermit is a large hermit hummingbird in its range, with black feathers on the throat giving it a scaled appearance. Found in the southeastern part of South America. Somber hummingbird is a quite drab hummingbird with a slightly curved bill, endemic to Brazil in subtropical and tropical degraded forest. Lazuline saberwing. Large hummingbird, occurs in the subtropical zone of the Andes from Venezuela to Ecuador. Visits feeders, but also found in forests and edges. Very territorial birds, can be aggressive. Violet saberwing. Spectacular and aggressive hummingbird of humid evergreen forest. In highlands and foothills, note the very large size, thick arched bill, and big, flashy white tail corners. Filmed in Panama. Swallow-tailed hummingbird, large, unmistakable hummingbird, 15 to 17 centimeters long, half of it the tail, that opens as seen in the images, hence the name. Filmed in Brazil. White-necked Jacobin feeds at all levels, often in the canopy, hovering with its tail cocked and occasionally opening it to show extensive white plumage. Sparkling violet ear is a big hummingbird, very territorial and vocal, displays with the blue feather patches around its ears and aggressive behavior to eject intruders from his feeding grounds. If he inhabits the area, is the most common and abundant hummingbird on the site, and he does very well to getting noticed. Common and widespread in all the Andes. Brown violet ear is uncommon, rather large but drab, fairly short-billed hummingbird of tropical and subtropical forest and edge. Can be aggressive when defending flower patches. as all violet is. Inhabits mainly in foothills. White-vented violet ear is found in the south of the continent. This one was filmed in Brazil. It has a spangled green body. The behavior we've seen shows much less aggressiveness than the rest of the violet ears. Here enjoying a rain shower. Green violet ear is smaller than the sparkling, has metallic colors, and can show a degree of territoriality similar to the brown one. It is found from Mexico to Peru. This one filmed in Mindo, Ecuador. Here arguing with other species near a feeder. Black-throated mango, widespread but uncommon. This is a fairly large and dark hummingbird with a slightly decurved bill. Females have white underparts with dark line running down the center. Green-throated mango, large, dark hummingbird found in coastal regions and along large rivers. Territories overlap with the previous one. Breeds from northeastern Venezuela to Trinidad and the Guianas. Crimson topaz, large, distinctive hummingbird, one of the most striking of all hummingbirds. Superb male is mostly red and essentially unmistakable. The contrast of its crimson plumage and the yellow-orange gorget seem to be painted on purpose. Female is mostly green plumage with orange outer tail feathers. Very hard to find in the canopy of Amazonian forests at the corner of Venezuela, Brazil and Guyana. Violet-headed hummingbird, tiny compact hummingbird. Note short straight bill and bold white spot behind eye in this subadult. Female has paler bluish crown and gray throat. We found the nest of the female on light branches near a moss wall. Coquettes are spectacular small hummingbirds, notorious by outlandish colorful crests and markings. Festive coquette is found in a range on the southeast coast of Brazil. The adult male has a fantastic iridescent green headdress. Here can be seen gorging on a grevillea flower. Frilled coquette. Like other coquettes, it has a white bar across the rump. Males are astonishingly pretty with a long, rufous-orange erectile crest, a ruff of white and green feathers on the neck, and a red bill with a black tip. We had to travel twice to the site where this bird showed off to be able to get these clips in southeast Brazil. Spangled coquette. Spectacular male is mostly green with a bushy orange crest with black spots. Found from Venezuela to Ecuador. Captured in a garden full of verbena flowers. one of their most sought after. Wire-crested thorntail, found on the east slope of the Andes from central Colombia to central Peru. Notice the long pointed tail, white band across the rump, and wire-like crest. Female has a shorter tail and is duller. Also sipping on verbena flowers in Ecuador. Green thorntail is a forest canopy resident from Panama to Ecuador, similar to the wire-crested, but mostly shining green, hence the name. The female has a shorter tail and white mustache. Green-tailed emerald, glittering green with a white-tipped tail, usually in gardens and cultivated areas under 2,500 meters. Endemic to the Andes and Venezuela's north coast. White-tailed emerald is found in western Panama and Costa Rica, where it was filmed, in the foothills of the Pacific Slope. Coppery-headed emerald, the male has distinctive coppery crown and rump, with a whole green belly and white vent. Endemic to Costa Rica. Stripe-tailed hummingbird has a bright rusty panel in the wings. The male is brilliant green overall, a lot of white in the tail. Filmed in the foothills in Panama. Wood nymphs are small hummingbirds, mainly green and violet blue. Violet-crowned wood nymph is found from Belize to northern Peru. The green iridescent gorget stands out against the overall blue of the bird. Green-crowned wood nymph lives in humid forests and tall secondary growth. The brilliant green gorget and forehead are the best features of identification. Here sipping in a variety of flowers. Fork-tailed wood nymph is one of the most common hummingbirds in lowland Amazonia. Notice how carefully scans the compound flower of a bromelia till all buds are licked. Filmed in southeast Venezuela. Violet-capped wood nymph. Males have a metallic green body, dark wings, a blue tail and a violet crown. This species was filmed in southeastern Brazil in a variety of flowers. They even has to fight there with bigger birds like this banana quit. Emerald-bellied wood nymph is mostly considered a subspecies of the green-crowned wood nymph, but some authorities consider the emerald-bellied to be a separate species. Here male and female feed in a heliconia flower. violet-bellied wood nymph, gorget and crown glittering green. Some subadults in flowers. And an adult claiming a leaf to get a shower alone. White-chinned sapphire, male usually look very dark in the field, but in the right light shows a violet-blue head, and often indistinct whitish chin, and are green below. The bill is red with a black tip, filmed in Brazil. Blue-headed sapphire, hummingbird with blue head, shimmering green body, and mostly red bill with black tip. Typical inhabitant of the Andes slopes and elevations, filmed in Colombia. Golden-tailed sapphire, one of the most common hummingbirds at feeders in their range. Male is iridescent green, with bluish face, and rich reddish golden rump and tail. The clips show him gorging in a variety of garden flowers. White-throated hummingbird mite reminds the collared Inca, but this is smaller, and a native of the south cone of South America. It also has a white spot behind the eye. As usual with hummingbirds, loves a shower on the rain. Blue-chested hummingbird is found in Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Nicaragua, and Panama. The males will form leks to try and gain the attention of females during breeding season. Amberzilia hummingbird is the only hummingbird placed in this genus, hence the name. Green and chestnut hummingbird, red bill with a black tip and white throat. Found in southern Ecuador, but mostly in Peru, where it was filmed gorging on the extensive patch of flowers. White-chested emerald, similar to some emeralds, but has shorter, entirely black bill. Found on the northeastern part of South America. Glittering-throated emerald, very common species in open habitats, savannas and urban areas. Here getting inside the buds on an emperor cane flower. Andean emerald, as the name implies, a very common hummingbird in the Andes of Colombia and Ecuador. Very abundant in Mindo, Ecuador, where it was filmed in its favorite flowers. Steely-vented hummingbird, a dark green hummingbird with blue tail, long bill, blue and white vent, lacks the gorget of the majority, and with it the flash of surprise. A resident of Colombia and Venezuela. Copper-rumped hummingbird, mainly a resident of Venezuela on the North Coastal Range. A small hummingbird with a big personality, shiny green with a noticeable copper rump, here feeding in all the flowers of the garden. Rufous-tailed hummingbird, found all over the Andes, shining green, grayish belly, rusty tail, slight curved red bill with white tip, filmed in Mindo, Ecuador, where he is a dominant hummer in gardens and flowered areas, as seen in the images. Versicolored emerald, rather dull-colored hummingbird present in a variety of habitats. The name versicolor reflects a variety of color plumage depending on the region. Fiery-throated hummingbird, most likely the name rainbow would have been more adequate for this striking multicolored hummer, endemic of Panama and Costa Rica, very vocal and territorial. White-vented plumeletier, male mostly green with turquoise tones, white undertail coverts, found from Panama to Peru. Red-feet plumeletier, similar to the white-vented, but it is the only hummingbird with red feet. Mountain gems are a genus of hummingbirds, which inhabit mountainous regions from the southwestern United States to the Isthmus of Panama. Purple-throated mountain gem, the male shows bright purple throat, blue crown, and white line behind eye. The female is bright buffy under, with black cheek and white line behind eye. White-throated mountain gem, the male is green with white throat that gives him the name. The chest and forehead are green-blue, line behind the eye. The female is similar to the purple-throated. Gray-tailed mountain gem, until recently it was believed to be a subspecies of the previous one, the gray tail is evident. The female is very similar to the two previous ones. Speckled hummingbird, a species living in the Andes from 1,000 to 3,000 meters of altitude, filmed in Ecuador. Brazilian ruby, An endemic found on the east of Brazil, the male has an iridescent green breast and forehead, a ruby throat, and a white mark behind the eye. It looks like a dark hummingbird, but he shines when he needs to. Empress brilliant, a big shining species of the cloud Andean forests of Colombia and Ecuador. Big massive bill, long tail, gorget, breast and forehead are clear on the images. The female is green-specked breasted. Green-crowned brilliant, large, robust hummingbird. The male is entirely emerald green with small blue throat patch, only visible at some angles, found all over the range from Costa Rica to Ecuador, where it was filmed, in Mindo. Violet-fronted brilliant, a hummingbird of Andean cloud forests, from Venezuela down to Bolivia. Notice the violet crown that distinguish it from the previous one. Filmed in the Cordillera de la Costa, Venezuela. Over 1,500 meters. Thorn-breasted brilliant is another species of the cloud forests in the Andes. Warm buffy underparts and green upperparts, pink throat patch. Observed here in a variety of flowers. Notice him in a bromeliad with its forehead full of pollen. Velvet-browed brilliant is a large hummingbird common in Tepua highlands and forests underneath, in a wide variety of habitats. This one was filmed in the corner of Brazil, Venezuela and Guyana, sipping on a long compound flower of bromelia. Riverless hummingbird is a large hummingbird that lives from the southeastern mountains of the United States to Panama. He inhabits forest clearings up to 2,000 meters. His big size separates him from the crowds. Other individuals of the species are mainly his rivals. Rufous-caped hill star has limited range on the west slopes of the Andes. Overall bronzy greenish with blue throat. This individual was filmed in a reserve in Ecuador over 3,000 meters. Velvet purple coronet. Very few comments about this hummingbird, images say it all. The colors and territorial behavior. How uses the shining flashes. We spent hours on end filming and admiring this exquisite dazzling gem of nature. Chestnut-breasted coronet, a belligerent hummingbird of Andean cloud forest. A typical stretching of hummers before taking off. Aggressive in a patch of flowers. Shining sunbeam inhabits high elevation, semi-arid mountain ridges and cloud forests. Lilac gold iridescent lower back and rump. This individual is a subadult. Still needs developing of the colors on the back. Mountain velvet breast lives at big altitudes in the Andes, over 3,000 meters. Overall shining green with white tail and a curved bill, dark breast, a very unique hummer. Bronzy Inca lives in tropical and subtropical rainforests. This was filmed in Ecuador's Andes on the Amazonian slope. In the images are arguing with similars and collared Incas. Afterwards on flowers. Entirely dull brownish with almost no color or iridescence. Collared Inca, large dark green with white throat patch and tail, violet forehead patch, very long straight beak. As seen, territories overlap with the bronzy Inca. Buff-winged starfrontlet, hummingbird of high altitudes, large size, long beak. Patches on throat and forehead. The female has a buffy throat. In the end we see her on a hanging nest feeding chicks. Rainbow starfrontlet, what a great name. The forehead shows all the colors of the rainbow. In this high mountainous part of Ecuador, the competition must be tremendous. This is probably why the displays must be extremely important for survival. A feast for the eyes. Sword-billed hummingbird. It is the only bird to have a beak longer than the rest of its body. Looks awkward, but he manages it very well. He does not need fancy colors. The only competition are other similar birds. The beak allows him to reach the pollen in extremely long bell-shaped flowers. It ensures the flower secure pollination and a constant meal for the bird. No better example of convergent evolution. Great sapphire wing, a huge, spectacular hummingbird found all over the Andes range. The bill is slightly upturned. Sun angels are small hummers featured by a huge brilliant gorget resembling the sunlight, hence the name. Amethyst-throated sun angel, this one has also a blue patch in the forehead. As usual, aggressive defending his meal. Tourmaline sun angel, tree-colored in forehead, throat, gorget and breast. Orange-throated sun angel, the sun angel star in the collection. Found in the Andes range shared by Venezuela and Colombia, the glittering orange throat lights up like a beacon. Little sun angel, a limited version of the previous one found between South Ecuador and northern Peru. Gorged head sun angel, glittering pinkish-purple throat is distinctive in good light, but also note the snowy white chest band, mostly in Ecuador on the Pacific slope of the Andes, might be confused with a wood star, but it is bigger. Golden-breasted puffleg, large hummingbird found over 3,000 meters in Colombia and Ecuador. Glowing puffleg, another well-named species, medium-size hummer. Purple-bibbed white-tip, rarely forages in the open but goes to feeders. The white patches on the tail and eye set him apart from others, violet and green on the throat. Booted racket-tail, a tiny shining green hummer with long tail rackets and leg puffs, very territorial, engaging in fights with similars. He dances in flight with his tail feathers. An amazing hummingbird found all over the Andes above 1,000 meters. Tyrian metaltail, greenish dark metal color hummer, with shining green forehead and throat. Rufous-capped thornbill, hard to find, see and capture on film. When he turns, the shining green throat and rufous head cap makes worth the effort. Mountain avosatbill, another hard to find, scarce hummingbird, overall greenish buff, white spot, inhabits high Andean cloud forests from Colombia to Peru. First we saw several long-billed hummers, now is the turn of the long-tailed ones. The violet-tailed sylph is a striking hummingbird from Colombia and Ecuador. His long forked tail is iridescent purple and blue, forages low in forests, and at times, from this side, it seems that the tail is a hindrance, not for them though. Long-tailed sylph, found all over the Andes, similar to the violet-tailed, extremely long tail, can be 19 centimeters, 12 are from the tail. The images show his acrobatics. Purple-crowned fairy, large hummingbird of the lowlands, like flower pierces bigger birds. They pinch the base of the flowers to get the nectar. Here near a feeder, has a very light and graceful flight. Long-billed starthroat, a resident of all lowlands from Mexico to Brazil. A 12 centimeters hummingbird with a black straight bill measuring 3.5, blue forehead and purple throat, white mustache, very territorial. Now is the turn of the mini hummers. Around 5 centimeters long and barely over 2 grams. They hum like bumblebees, but are as aggressive as all hummingbirds, and also can bring over 1,000 insects to their nest every day like the big guys. We call them nanobirds. This is the purple-throated wood star, restricted to the Pacific slope of the Andes. Little wood star inhabits both humid and deciduous forest, mainly in the Andes, but also in coastal areas of Ecuador. Gorge-tailed wood star is found in the subtropical and temperate zone of the Andes from Venezuela to Ecuador. White-bellied wood star, their wings make a distinctive metallic whirring in flight, in the Andes from Colombia to Bolivia. Volcano hummingbird, a wood star version of Panama and Costa Rica. Scintillant hummingbird, also endemic of Panama and Costa Rica.